But I think you're trying to define yourself. You're trying to compare yourself to your friends or peers with regard to the relationship that they have with their significant others, whatever that may be. And in this particular case, it's very different. There's no way of cutting it because we're about the three of us. It's very rarely, if ever, I don't know if I could pull a percentage out of it, but it's never about the two of us from that standpoint. I think, though, as I said, if you decide to somehow get through those times, good, bad, or indifferent, I think you do come to some sort of peace. Now, that time could take 11 years, 6 years, 1 year. I think it's all dependent on who you are and when that comes. I think my journey was long, or has been a long one from that standpoint. I don't think there was a day that went by that I somehow did not resent Jake, but I resented the situation and kind of, what about me? And at the end of the day, you do realize to a certain degree that that's selfish. And I felt selfish, and I always felt conflicted with that, which I think exacerbates the situation, because now you are being selfish, and you shouldn't be selfish, but maybe you should be selfish. But eventually you come at peace with all of these feelings. And I also think there comes a moment of truth, whether you decide, do you want to remain in that situation? Good, bad, or indifferent? Are you at peace with this? If you're not at peace, then, like so many of us, you split up, you go separate ways or whatnot. Or you see that, you come to that moment where you say, I want to be here no matter what. And there's a lot of 117 fights, and where we have them, we've had blowouts from that standpoint, where those were struggling times from that standpoint. And it was, a lot of it was frustration. We would go out to a restaurant and then suddenly get called out, away because Jake threw up all over himself, and we had to come home immediately. Typically what would happen is she wanted to be home, my frustration would come through, and you'd have these conflicts, if you will. But I think at the end of the day, there is that moment where, speaking for myself, that good, bad, or indifferent, the length amount of time, you basically come through it and then decide, where do you want to be? And I guess in my case, I want to be here from that standpoint. And maybe there's others that it's exactly the opposite, and maybe they find peace in that as well. But it takes a while. It takes a while from the standpoint of, and I can't predict how long that's going to be. I think you hang in no matter what in a relationship, as long as you think you should or can or whatnot, until eventually you find peace in some way, shape, or form.